Hey, what's up, people? I'm a little bit behind in my upload schedule. I promised you guys to bring you the Kershaw Strata, which I have a couple of issues with. So I will show you the Hogue Microswitch instead, and also my auto knife collection, which is pretty small at this point because I sold a couple of auto knives. Um, yeah, the Hogue Microswitch. I basically used this knife for the last summer, and I have a couple of things to say about it. This is not a full review. I will do a full review about this knife in a couple of months, I guess. It's a pretty cool knife, though. I have a lot of things to say about it, and I guess, yeah. By the way, this is just tape and cardboard on this blade. It's not, the finish is not scuffed up completely. It just has been used and never been cleaned, which speaks for this knife. Um, it's pretty reliable so far. The auto action is pretty good. As you can see, there is a lot of dust on the inside of the action because, like I said, I never cleaned it, never took it apart. It just has been used and used, and so far it holds up well. It never misfired. The action is pretty good. This is my first Hogue knife, and also my first auto Hogue knife, so I was excited about that. It's a pretty expensive knife, I have to say, for the size we're looking at here. It's 6.5 centimeters in blade length, which is 2.5 inches. For some reason, Hogue claims that this is 2.7 inches in blade length, which I don't know. I didn't measure that, so uh, I don't know. I just measured 2.5 inches. So it's a small little knife. We have an overall length of 16.6 centimeters, which is 6.5 inches. The weight on this guy is 71 grams, which is 2.5 ounces. Pretty good weight, pretty light and easy to carry. Yeah, I didn't carry it every single day. Most of the time, it stayed at my workplace, and we used it to break open boxes because that's really what it's for. With that blade shape, it's just an expensive little box opener, which is it's pretty cool to have an expensive little box opener. I show you my other auto knives. I have the Boca Strike, which is in the 40 euro range right now. I think it's even more expensive than that on the market right now. I think it used to be 40, now it's like 50. Um, Very hard kicking, excuse me. Uh, Little budget knife. Um, the people that have been watching this channel for a longer time may remember that I broke this knife at some point, but I did actually fix it. So this knife is pretty reliable. It holds up to a lot of stuff. The only thing that right now is that sometimes it doesn't lock up because I have done some pretty stupid shit with this knife. I have to admit that. And a review about this knife will also come probably this autumn. I shouldn't promise you guys reviews because I never keep up with the things I say. So yeah, but no excuses. Life is more important than doing YouTube videos. Here's the Kershaw launch. The launch also is a knife that doesn't lock up all the time, so it's also not launch 5. Excuse me. Did I say that? Launch 5. Yeah. Um, Very unreliable auto knife from Kershaw. It didn't work since I got it. I never really used this knife. Sometimes it doesn't lock up. The spring is pretty weak on this guy. Yeah. So I have, as you can see, I have some issues with some of my auto knives, which is to be expected, I guess, if you get into auto knives. This is the Benchmade CLA. This is one of my favorite auto knives. It's very clean, very elegant design. Um, yeah, with a auto feature. 154 cm steel, G10, super lightweight, 105 grams. I think this is like, if this would be made in a manual version, it would be a bug out killer for sure. To me at least. It's a little bit thicker behind the edge because it doesn't have the full high grind that the bug out has, but overall I think the CLA is just a better knife than the bug out. Yeah, but this is an auto, not a manual. Yeah, all of these guys have safeties. I never really use safeties though, I have to admit that. I don't like safeties on auto knives. Yeah, so these are basically all the auto knives that I own right now. I had a couple of ProTechs, sold my ProTechs for various reasons. Will get another ProTech in the future probably, but at this point I'm stuck with what I have right here. And the Microswitch and the CLA, the Benchmade CLA, are my two favorite auto knives. They're just very, very, very good knives. And I have to admit, the Hogue is better in fit and finish and overall build quality than all of the auto knives that I have owned at this point. It's better than my ProTechs have been, and it's better than all the knives that you see here, which is obviously not the best comparison because this is in the 40 euro range, this is in the 120 euro range, this is in the 200 euro range, and this costs about 180 euros new, which luckily I got it a lot cheaper because I would not really pay 180 euros for a knife like this. Because like I said, it's pretty small, it's pretty tiny. I have small hands, but if you have larger hands, this may be a little bit of an issue. It's really a tiny little knife. And yeah, but the build quality is super good. The blade came nice and centered. The fit and finish on this guy is excellent. There are no gaps, everything is done really well. The button of the mechanism really well executed. The action is a step behind, I would say, behind the ProTech, but overall I think Hogue makes better knives because first off, they grind their knives thinner. It's a hollow ground blade. It's CPM 154 cryo heat treated, which I don't think ProTech does cryo heat treatment. So the blade steel is better executed, and the edge on this guy out of box was pretty insane. You may not be able to see that because of the gunk on the blade, but this is very high polished from factory. So this was one of the craziest, if not the craziest, sharpened knife from a manufacturer that I have seen so far. It was really well done on the edge. The edge is symmetrical. It's the tip is well centered. You can see some of the coating is coming off in the tip section, but apart from that, the coating holds up pretty well. I think this is a Cerakote, right? Yeah, it's a Cerakote. It's not a DLC coating, so the coating will wear off quicker than a DLC coating long term, but it holds up pretty well. Like I said, it's just dirty right now. The aluminum body is hard anodized. It's 6061 T6 aluminum. Pretty reliable coating on the handle. You can see I have a couple of marks up here in the front, and the reason I have those is because I pry open beer bottles with this knife every once in a while. They make a smaller version that has actually a bottle opener in the end, but the smaller version I was not interested because this is already a really small knife and the smaller one is even tinier. So I was not interested, especially for the price we are looking at here. I would always go with the larger one because this is still pretty small. The coating of the pocket clip, as you can see, wears off a little bit more quicker. So like I said, I didn't carry this knife too often. Most of the time it stayed in one place and I cut a lot of things with it, but I didn't carry it that much. But if you would carry this knife a lot, the coating of the clip would come off pretty quickly because, like I said, the aluminum body is hard anodized and the blade is Cerakoted, but the clip is just painted, so the clip will wear off pretty quickly. You can reverse it to left-hand carry. Obviously, the mechanism is only on the right side. Safety. So if you engage the safety, you can't disengage the blade, and if you it also works in a closed position. So it's a nice feature to have a safety. I don't really use safeties. I just don't like them. I think it's more intuitive to pull out the knife and just press the button. And I never had an auto knife go off in my pocket. But I guess it's a nice feature if you maybe if you have your knife while you fall asleep or something, I don't know, in your pocket, then the safety is a good feature, I guess. And yeah, or if you have the knife in your car with a bunch of other stuff, then you may engage the safety. But other than that, I really don't use it. But it's a well executed safety, and you also have the screw on the outside to tighten the safety up, which is pretty cool, because safeties usually safeties start to loosen over the time, and then they start to rattle, and on every single auto knife you can tighten up the safety, usually on the inside, which this one has it on the outside, which is a nice feature, I guess. Closed construction, almost completely closed. We have those I guess it's a plastic backspacer, but it feels nice and high quality, very nice details, looks like some file work from the design. And yeah, we have this pommel in the end, which you can use as a striking implement. And yeah, this hurts for sure. So if you would use this for self-defense, I guess this pommel, even though it's plastic, this would hurt quite a bit. So you can also use it to break stuff, I guess, but remember this is just a plastic backspacer, so it will not hold up to everything. The Lischewitz design is pretty busy. There's a lot of things going on this knife. Now, I showed you the Benchmade CLA before, and this is a lot more streamlined. This is a lot more elegant, clean. There's not a lot of things going on in this design, where in the Lischewitz design, on the Microswitch, there are a lot of things happening. A lot of screws on the body, a lot of milling, very aggressive chimping back here, aggressive chimping on the top and on the blade. So this blade chimping is crazy. It's not sharp, but it's intense. It's like I don't know. It's a very, very rough jimping. I don't mind that. I think it works. I'm used to, I don't know, work with my hands. I don't have a problem with that. But if you do not like aggressive jimping, this knife may not be for you. Yeah, like I said, hollow ground blade, which is very nice. It slices pretty good. Obviously, with a Wharncliffe, you use the tip the most, and it's a pretty effective tip. But the knife is pretty limited because it's that small. It can only do a certain amount of things. This is not a knife that you can cut wood effectively. This is not a knife you can cut food with, really. This is just a box opener. It even lacks in, being able to open letters because the blade is so short, and I guess this is just an expensive box opener. I'm not sure if everybody wants to pay $180 for a box opener, but if you do, you are blessed with a really, really well-made auto knife. Like I said, the spring is not that good than a ProTech knife. It's not that crisp, but it keeps the blade open. This is a very good test to see if the spring pushes the blade all the way to the end. So the spring is strong, the mechanism is snappy, it's very clean. One very interesting feature about it is if you do not have the safety engaged and you try to open the knife, you're not able to open the blade without really pressing the button, because I show you this close up. If you press the button only to a certain point, right, only to this point, the blade will jump out a little bit, but it will not open completely. You cannot touch the tip at this position. See that? So if you are not engaging the safety and you, for some reason, hitting it on something, the blade will not open. You have to press the button all the way in so it opens. Very nice feature. So this is a very secure knife. it will not open on its own or by accident. You really have to press the button, which kind of makes this safety not really that important, but yeah, like I said, it's a nice feature to have. Yeah, I'll show you the box that it came in with. Nice box. You also get a Hogue sticker with the same design, and you also get this little pouch. Pretty cool. At least they give you that. I mean, it's not a very big pouch, but I guess it's useful. I don't really use it that much, but it's always nice to have 3 pouches available if you may need it. So yeah, presentation is pretty good. Like I said, the action is pretty good. Fit and finish, excellent. Cryo heat treated steel. CPM 154 is a good steel. The cryo heat treatment makes it even better. The edge, like I said, was unbelievably sharp out of box. You don't get that with a Benchmade. You don't get that with a ProTech auto knife. You don't get that with a Kershaw auto knife. You really don't get that with any auto knife. So I think Hogue makes some pretty insane high quality auto knives. The only thing that I would wish from Hogue is that they would make this exact knife in this exact configuration with the Wharncliffe in a larger model. They have the full 3.5 inch knives, so the knives with the 9 centimeter blades. I would wish that this knife would be made in this configuration. This would make it even better. So yeah, this is the Hogue Microswitch. Like I said, I will probably do another video on this at some point in the future. This is a pretty good knife. It's pretty expensive, pretty excellent though. I would definitely recommend it. I would not recommend it for the money, probably, but I would recommend it overall. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and have yourself a nice rest of your day, people. Goodbye.